Hey, what's up, everybody? Pat here. Grateful recovering alcoholic and addict, just like every day, my friends. Guys, please don't forget to subscribe, give the video a like, leave me a comment, and by all means, share it with somebody that might get something out of it. Other than that, let's get into it, guys. It's Friday. You all know what that means. Friday's my home group at AA, and one of my happiest days of the week, guys. And I tell you, I can say that today. And when I tell you the morning I had, the fact that I still am having a happy day. I mean, this is what happens with with having a higher power in your life. Yesterday afternoon, I was asked to go over and look at a clogged drain, and it was out in Lawrence, and I'm on light duty, and but you know what? I'm finding a lot of hair clogs and drains. I'd use my little Velcro puller, and it just pulls them right out. So I'm like, yep, no problem. So I went over, and it was actually clogged pretty good. I removed the standing water, and I poured drain acid, muriatic acid, into the main pipe. And typically you let that sit overnight, run the water 6-8 hours later, and that'll take care of it. Unless it's something serious like flushing non-flushable baby wipes for an extended period of time, which this ended up being. So I got a call last night. They when they turned the water back on, to no avail, and it was actually getting worse. So I said, all right, no problem. I'll be out in the morning to take a peek. Now, typically at that point, I'll usually say call a drain company because it's it can get a little ugly, and I'm not a big fan of doing drain work at that point. But it's a customer of mine who appreciates my work, and I know the tenants. I'm getting to be friendly with them, so I thought, yeah, I've been doing much work this week. I'll take a ride out in the morning and just take care of it for her. Well, what a mistake. I get out there this morning, guys, and this woman's got a handicapped son, and he's been using baby wipes for God knows how long, the non-flushable ones, and been flushing them. So, by the way, don't do that. So, I could not, I had a couple options. I could either remove the toilet and snake it, but again, I didn't want to remove the toilet with my appendix surgery, because that's heavy lifting. So I looked for an opportunity to get into the pipe with the drain snake underneath, and I saw that there was a trap from the shower. It was a manual trap, not a glue trap, so I was able to unscrew it and get my snake in from there, and I started snaking it, and what I found was an absolute horrendous clog from baby wipes. So as I'm, loading them up in the snake and pulling them back out and cleaning them out, well, what I didn't understand was this has been going on for quite some time, and it was backed up 40 feet out into the main drain, and there was 200 gallons of liquid feces sitting behind it, and as I pulled on it, one of the plastic PVC joints exploded, and I proceeded to take a bath in 200 gallons of the nastiest concoction the world has to offer. I mean, guys, absolutely just... I was like, but now I'm committed, and, I went to the depot, and I got the stuff that I needed, and I just took the rest of it apart, and I cleaned it out manually, and I put it all back together, and I was just grossed out beyond description. And at that point, I was upset because I didn't think I was going to make it back in time for my AA meeting, and I reached out to my friend, I reached out to my friend that's the chair and said, hey, just to let you know, I probably won't make it today. If I don't, I'll make it Monday, but I just wanted to let you know. And I've been in touch with everybody all week due to my surgery, because again, the outpouring of concern and just care and just letting me know, people thinking of me and asking me if I needed anything was amazing, guys. It was one of the highlights of this whole ordeal was seeing the community that I've built around me, and the way we look out for each other, and just generally try to make sure everybody's okay. That was unbelievable, right? Well, at the last minute, things went well, and I got the clog cleared, and I was able to put it back together, and I'm like, shit, it's, 11:15, 11:20, my AA meeting's at noon, and I'm in Lawrence. It's a good ways away. I'm like, but you know what? I'm like, I can make it. I might be 15, 20 minutes late, but I'm going to boogie back, because, now I'm miserable, and, and I'm like, you know what? I was not happy with the idea that I did something out of my nature, and that I was going to cause me to miss my group, and I just felt misaligned at that point. So I cleaned up real quick. I shot back to my house. I literally ran in the house, ripped off the clothes because they're getting burnt anyway. Hopped in the shower real quick, rinsed off, threw in some clothes, and shot over my AA meeting. And I literally got there before the end of the meeting, and I was the first one to speak. Nobody raised their hand. I'm like, I've been dying to talk this week, guys. I got plenty to talk about. And it was fantastic, guys. And you know what? I had a great message to speak because I'm really proud of the way that I handled my surgery. And again, I'm not telling anybody else they can't take doctor-prescribed medication, because if the doctor's prescribing them to you and you're using them properly as described and as needed, that's not a relapse, because that's a medical condition. But for myself, it wasn't about resetting my time. It wasn't about a relapse. It was about not awakening that monster. I was legitimately terrified. Because again, I walked in there not thinking they're going to offer me drugs because I'm on Sublocade, an opiate blocker. I figured that, took that right out of the equation. Apparently not so much. But again, I'm so incredibly happy that I made the decision I made, and I'm so incredibly happy that it's been proven right, because I've been healing incredibly well. I'm doing fantastic, guys. At the rate I'm going, I'm planning on going back to work Monday, Tuesday, not working hard, and I'll just pay attention to my body, not lift anything too heavy, and if I feel like it's starting to get strained, then I'll back off, but at least I'm re-engaging, and life's been, tailoring itself to fit me anyway, working out incredibly. But guys, I end up having a great day, because every time I go to my meeting, guys, it's like going home, and I see, friends that are getting to be family, and I talk to somebody new, and I met a couple of newcomers into the program, and they're trying to find their way, and I gave them my phone number, and I gave them my YouTube information, and let them know. And if you guys are watching, by all means, if you're having a hard time and you need some resources, or just whatever, anything, I gave you my number for a reason. Please use it. By all means, call or text, but preferably text. But again, you need to speak. By all means, call, man. There's a reason we give you our numbers in the program, for you to use them. All right, we don't want you to be nobody needs to feel isolated and alone, because we're not. There's always a meeting going on. I think I got 160 videos here. Feel free to go back and watch. And if you guys want to see what's possible in the program, go back and watch a couple of my early videos and understand that was back in January, and watch compared to today. This is what's possible when you work your program to the best of your ability. And again, yours is going to be different than mine. Your higher power may be different than mine, but find your higher power. Work your program. Do it to the best of your ability, and take care of your needs, but do them honestly. So, the Just for Today NA meditation, again, they're just amazing, okay? And that's why I enjoy doing them, and I'm loving this format for it. Today's topic is meditation for beginners. And again, I talk about it all the time, and particularly in my earlier videos. Prayer is a form of meditation, and that's huge, right? And again, regardless of your denomination, regardless of your religious or spiritual background, prayer can look very, very different, but everybody should be into it. And I strongly suggest meditation, because again, meditation for me, when I tried meditation the last time I got clean about 7-8 years ago, it seems like new age woo-woo, and I tried it and I couldn't. But the difference was, guys, I was incapable of quieting my mind to allow meditation to work. And somehow, some way, because it started with prayer, I believe, for me, because again, those of you that are new, my whole journey started, guys. I was still working. Life was getting to be really hard to keep together, but I was making good money. But I wasn't paying my bills. I was using 7 grams of heroin and fentanyl every day, and then smoking 4 or 5 grams of crack around the clock, but then particularly all night long. Not going to bed for 15, 16 days straight, and then I would crash out and sleep for 3 days and just miss everything, and then get back up and do it again. It was just an absolute nightmare. But somebody I was talking to online one night asked me when the last time I'd said a prayer was, and it's been decades, and said, well, say a prayer with me tonight, and I did. And I did just let it flow, right? And I meant it, but it was just a very simple, true prayer. I asked God for Him to show me His path for me and to allow me to walk in His light. And guys, that one moment changed my world. It took me another 3 months to put the drugs down, but I started praying every night, and I started just wanting better a little bit every day. That little dull voice in the back of my head saying, I can't keep getting high, just got more and more and louder and louder and louder, till it got to the point, guys, where, and again, I'm just being open and honest, guys. I'm a tough kid. Been through all the hell the world has to say, but I'm the first to admit, I was coming home at night and I was starting to feel things. God was giving me feelings, so I'd have desires, right? And I had a big pile of drugs in front of me, and no matter how much I do, I couldn't get high, and I'm crying, and just, it was time. Like, it was time. And again, I think this past weekend, I solidified in my own mind for myself. Because, guys, at the end of the day, the only person I'm trying to prove anything to is my higher power and myself. And I proved to myself this weekend with how hard I was willing to advocate for my sobriety. For the fact that literally right up to 10 minutes before surgery, I was making sure, like, listen, I want to know what exactly you're putting in this anesthesia because I want to make sure there's no narcotics. And even then, I'm glad I did. Because, oh, we're going to put methadone in there. No, you're not. No, you're absolutely not. If it is strictly there to comfort me, it's not comforting me. It's scaring me. That's the only fear that I have, guys. And again, when you work a beautiful spiritual program like I have, fear is removed from the equation because you understand every single thing is working for your higher good. This appendix situation was for my higher good because it showed to me my resolve. It showed to me the difference in who I am today, and that it's not something I'm trying to do. It is something I have become, and that is fantastic to me, right? That and again, I'm not saying I'm not success. Can't say it. I can't slip because I'm one bad decision away from going backwards, just like anybody else, and I'm I'm at just as much risk as anybody else. But I know that the person I am today will fight for the sobriety that I have because I proved it to myself. I proved it to everybody, and I proved it to my God. And more, I should say, my God proved it to me because He put that position. My God knew full well I was going to pass the test, and that's why He put me in the position to put me in to show me just how far I've come, and that's beautiful. Guys, people are like, oh, I feel so bad. It's a crazy situation. And I got for that. I didn't tell you guys either. Last night I got a text from the hospital. They biopsied my appendix, and they let me know that officially what I was suffering from was severe acute appendicitis and periappendicitis, which apparently means that it burst, and I was literally going to, if I had not gone into the hospital, I would have gone into toxic shock. So, I mean, it was a very severe medical emergency. And, it's not hindered me. It's actually shown me just how beautiful this community and this life and sobriety is that I've built. And I'm incredibly happy about that. Let's get up in time. Let's get back to the, so, meditation, guys. So, again, the last time I tried to get clean, I was trying meditation, and I would do it, but I got zero benefit of it because I was not quieting my mind. I was just letting it play in the background while my mind raced all over the ADHD that I was suffering from. But because I've done it in prayer, and I started reading books about prayer, and I learned about scientific prayer, and I've got my prayer is and again, that's my personal my personal situation. But again, I lay out like 14 handwritten pages of personal prayers that I do morning and night, and then I say small prayers throughout the day, just not asking for shiny trinkets, not for this, just show me your path. Thank you for what you've done for me. Thank you for my sobriety. Thank you for keeping me safe. Thank you for the opportunities that you're presenting to me. Thank you for letting me see the lessons and the trials that you're presenting to me, and just things of that nature, guys. And it works incredibly well. And a lot of this has come from meditation. Meditation is, again, now, I'm going to read it to begin of this. Meditation for beginners. For some, prayer is asking for God's help. Meditation is listening for God's answer. Quieting the mind through meditation brings an inner peace that brings us into contact with the God within us. And that's perfectly definition of what I've found. Guys, I talk to God about my concerns in my prayer. I say my prayers, and then I just speak to my God. I just tell him, listen, God, thank you for this, thank you for this. This is my, God, this is what I don't know. I don't know about this. Am I right here? Am I wrong there? And then I go and I meditate, and I get my answers. And that's where my opportunities, and that's where my intuitive nudges on my next steps have come from. And I do this nightly. It's gotten to the point where... I was praying, I was meditating more in the morning prior, but you know what, life's getting busier and the business is starting to thrive, and I don't have the time that I did before, because early on, guys, I literally went to hermit mode for months, as a lot of you know, and that was beautiful, because I'd get up in the morning, I'd lay in bed for an hour and just relax, and then I'd say my prayers, and I'd put on a guided meditation, and I'd really center myself and ground myself, and I'd do chakra work, and just all these different things that I used to laugh at and think were just the silliest things in the world. have become the way that I've reprogrammed myself. Like, again, you guys know I do a ton of self-development, Tony Robbins courses, Dom the Hypnotist courses. I'm doing, just all sorts of stuff. You guys can find your path. But again, I'm finding they're working amazingly well. I still haven't turned my TV on since I've been home from rehab, and I hadn't turned it on for probably a month before I went. So, other than watching the Super Bowl in February, that's the only time I've turned my TV on since last Thanksgiving. Right? And here we are coming up on 4th of July, and that's great to me. And again, I'm not saying it doesn't make me cool, it doesn't make me anything, but I'm saying I've found such great results by replacing. And because, guys, the reason I did this is all I watched on TV was negative. It was just straight murder, mystery, and and I'm still a big fan of true crime because I'm a big fan of psychology, and I like to find out how people work. But again, I understood that I needed, because, guys, and this is all because of where I was coming from, guys. I was in a very, very bad place when I came into it this time around, and most people are, obviously, but somehow, because I'd done it in prayer, somehow I had an understanding that if I put all I could into this, I was gonna see something special. It's why I started the channel. I was meditating after praying one night when I got the idea to start the channel, and I was balking because I was so far out of my comfort zone. I didn't think it was something I would actually follow through with, because back in my old days, that's something I didn't do. I had all these great ideas, and I never followed through with anything. And for those of you that are new, the night that I got home from rehab, again, I was praying, I was literally the superstar in rehab. The entire staff lined up to hug me on my way out. I mean, they had me in tears walking out of rehab, and I felt like I got this. Like, if anybody's gonna make it, I'm gonna make it. And a couple hours later, I was home cleaning all the shit out of my apartment, and I found a rock and a pipe and a lighter, and I fucking took a hit of crack before I even realized what I was doing. It scared the shit out of me. I'm like, oh my God, am I really, this is it? And that's it? Like, I didn't last 4 hours out of rehab. And so what I did was, I stopped and I prayed. I said, God, please, I need help. I can't let this happen. And God told me, get out of the house. So I did. I walked across the street, and a lot of you probably heard this. I walked across the street, and I went over to get a pack, and even though I quit smoking, I went to get a pack of cigarettes just because I needed something. And I had my headphones in, and the girl in front of me is taking forever. So I finally pulled my headphones out, trying to figure what's going on. And I hear her asking for an address to the guy behind the counter. And I'm like, oh, I'll look up an address for you, all right? And she didn't know the name of the street, but she gave me, the general location. So I pulled up the map, and I showed her where it was. And she thanked me, and she starts walking away. Now, again, this is back January 6th at 9 o'clock at night. So it was, freezing cold. She's walking like 3 miles. And I follow her out of the store, and she asked me for a cigarette. And I'm like, by all means, matter of fact, you can have the pack. And I only wanted one, but anyway. I asked her if she was walking there, and she said, yeah. I said, oh, Jesus Christ, I got a truck across the street. Would you like a ride? And she's like, oh, my God, if you wouldn't mind, I'd really appreciate it. I said, yeah, of course, it's freezing out. So we walked across the street. We got in the truck, and as we went to go, I could tell she didn't really know where the address was. So I'm like, what? Can you mind if I ask? Where am I taking you? And she's like, well, I got a customer who lives somewhere over there. I'm going to knock on his door and ask if he's got AAA because I locked my keys in my car at another house up the road. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, you know what? I think I have AAA. I'm like, you just need to get in the car. And she's like, oh, my God, really? Well, I looked up my AAA, and unfortunately it had expired while I was in rehab. And I didn't have a credit card on me at the moment to re-up it. But I'm also a mechanic by background. So I asked her what kind of car, and she told me it was a Subaru with frameless glass windows. I'm like, oh my God, I can break into that car in 10 seconds. And she's like, really, you wouldn't mind? Said, of course I wouldn't mind. Here's this girl looking at me like, who are you? Are you some kind of angel? And I'm laughing. I'm like, no, actually. I'm an addict that got out of rehab about 6 hours ago, and I just relapsed, and I'm feeling like an absolute piece of shit. And I'd like to do something to make me feel better. And she's like, wow. And then she started telling me her brother had a crack problem, and we got along well that way. So I was glad that I was open and honest with her, and literally that solidified it for me that night. I'm like, that's it. I'm standing 10 toes down. God put this in front of me to remind me that I like to be of service, and that's what lights me up. And I started the channel the next day. Went to AA, found my home group the next day. Literally one person I bumped into, a friend of mine who I knew was in the program, and I'm like, hey, bud, I just got out of rehab, and hey, bring me up, brought me up. Guys, everything has been so aligned and so beautifully because I've handed it to my higher power, and I've followed the nudges that I've gotten out of meditation. But that's exactly where it's all come from, guys. Everything I have has been hand delivered to me because of prayer and meditation. So if there's anything I will strongly recommend in this world, it's prayer and meditation. Those are the two most powerful things. Because guys, I say it all the time: where your energy goes, where your attention goes, energy flows. Your internal mind creates your external world, and I don't mean it in a funky Matrix 3D way. I mean it in a way that the way you talk to yourself, the way you talk to your higher power, the way that you feel about yourself, absolutely determines the way every experience you have is going to happen. And it magnifies and pulls in beautiful experiences when you're positive and talking to yourself in a positive light. And when you're praying and meditating, whether you're talking to God, your higher self, whatever you choose. But when you stop and you meditate and you do these things, guys, it's medically proven. Like if you stop and if they put EKG and CT scans on people that were meditating, and they tell you to focus on parts of your body, and blood flow changes to the parts of that body. Your mind is incredibly powerful, and slowing it down and controlling it through prayer and meditation is such a powerful, beautiful thing. And I say that from experience because it's worked amazingly well for me. I was so lost. I was so confused. I was so just didn't know. And I don't have all the answers now. But in 5 short months, I have changed the person I am, the way that I feel about myself, the way I look at the entire outside world, the way I feel about every single person I interact with, and I've completely changed the trajectory of my life. And I'm on this amazing fast track to God knows where. And again, God knows where. So I don't need to. Guys, God loves you. I love you. Thank you so very much for being here. I appreciate all the support, appreciate the love, appreciate the views. Guys, God loves you. I love you. Thank you. See you in the next one.